Well, good morning. Today is Saturday, December 23rd. We're on our way to the Weight Watchers meeting. I was afraid to get on the scale this morning. I was so bad on Sunday. Remember that I had the 3 pieces of cake? And what else did I have? Oh, I had the nacho bar and I had the pop. And then on Tuesday we went out to eat and I ate all that bread and the breadsticks. So I hope I can keep my streak alive. Even if it's just 0.1, at least it's a loss. And it's snowing. We're supposed to get snow today and tomorrow. So I might have my white Christmas after all. Then after that, I don't really care. I just like it for Christmas. It just puts me in the mood. I always wonder, the people that never grew up with snow, do they have to live their Christmases through movies to seeing all the snow? Although, you know, like, you can always go to the mountains, I guess. Of course, I don't know if there's mountains everywhere. No, there's not. So, anyway, first of all, I'd like to make a correction on my Happy Mail yesterday. Is after I finished my video, I finished reading the letter from Taryn. Thank you, Taryn. It was a beautiful letter. And she did kind of clarify that I think I am a lot. She said I was like her mother, and I take that as a compliment. Because she said her mother was childlike, not childish. And that's like I think I am. I'm not childish, but I'm childlike. I know that. And the picture wasn't of her, it was of her mother. And there wasn't her grandchildren, it was her children. Boy, I'm aging her before she needs to be. She's got a long life ahead of her. She don't need me making her a grandma already. But, so they were beautiful children. And your mother was beautiful too. So sorry she's gone. But, so my Christmas story is not really a story, it's just so much of my traditions I thought I'd share with you. As a small child, we always bought each other a gift. We used to go to, this will bring back memories for us old folks, but going to the 5 and Dime, Kresge's, Woolworths, Ben Franklin, you could get something really cool, really cheap, kind of like the dollar store now, but it was the 5 and 10 then. And we used to get a small allowance, not a lot, but we'd have to save our allowance, and we'd always go and buy something. But before that, we always went to the Santa Claus parade. My dad brought us every year. Never saw Santa Claus though. Never saw Santa Claus, because we'd always get there and we'd park the farthest away because he wanted to beat the traffic, and then we'd have to walk and 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 walk, and then we'd finally get there, and then we'd see the parade. But then just before Santa Claus came, we'd have to leave. I didn't put my signal on because there's nobody behind me. It's kind of like sitting at a red light when there's nobody around. But anyway, so we'd go to the parade and we'd never see Santa Claus. We'd always leave, and so I never saw Santa Claus. But J.L. Hudson's was the big store. It was like the Macy's around here. It was like the huge store. And we would go like a week before Christmas. My mother would bring us, and we'd always get up real early, drive my dad to work because there was only the one car. So we had to get up like it was dark, drive my dad so that we could have the car to go to Hudson's. And they had a beautiful display. And back then, it was an outdoor mall. It wasn't an indoor mall. You had to go outside. And they had all the windows were decorated. That's when they decorated the windows. They put all the displays in, kind of like in A Christmas Story. It really was like A Christmas Story. You'd go in there and look in the window and you'd kind of see what you wanted to have for Christmas. And so we would go and do that, and then we'd see Santa Claus. And then just a couple days, because my mother would want to make sure that we would kind of keep it a secret, just a couple days before Christmas, she'd bring us to the 5 and 10, and we'd buy our gifts for each other. We'd have to go in the store one at a time. We'd sit in the car and we'd go in one at a time, and we'd go and buy our gift, come in with our little bag out to the car, and we'd get home and we'd wrap it and put it under the tree. And then we'd always wait for the UPS delivery of my grandmother's stuff, which was always things that didn't fit. We'd wait so anxiously for it, and then we'd open it and it would be, oh, you know, such a kind of like a disappointment, but not too much of a disappointment, because it was nice that she thought of us. And then we'd open our gifts from each other. And then that was the only time of year that we went to Mass as a whole family. The rest of the year we always went either with my mother or my father. And if you went with my mother, you always got to sit. But if you went with my father, they had a building fund and you had to pay a nickel for the seat, and my dad wouldn't pay the nickel for the seat, so we had to stand up. But thinking back now, I realized that when we went with my dad, because it was a toss-up whether or not you really wanted to go with my dad to church, because you didn't want to have to stand for an hour. But then my dad always brought you to Cunningham's drugstore afterwards, and he'd buy you a package of Chuckles for a nickel. And it wasn't until I got later in life that I realized he couldn't afford the nickel for the seat and the nickel for the Chuckles, so he figured, I'll just get you the Chuckles. So that's what I do. And so every time I see Chuckles now, I always think of my dad. I'll eat them and I'll think of my dad. But anyway, so then our tradition was, like, on Christmas morning, Santa Claus would come and we'd open our gifts. Then when I met Jim's family's tradition was to do Christmas Eve, which really worked out really well, because I'd go to his family and he'd go, you know, obviously too, because it's his family, duh, and we would open gifts there. And then on Christmas Day, we'd do my family, and so then when we got married, that tradition went along pretty good, you know, because we'd always go to his house, we'd get, you know, bring up, the kids would get all dressed up and we'd go, and then Christmas Day we'd come back to my parents' house. And then it was funny because my kids were probably just as disappointed as I was at the time, but they always did the same thing I did, was on Christmas Eve, before we went to Jim's parents' house for Christmas, they always got to open one gift under the tree before we went. And their one gift was always, every year, without a doubt, was always their Christmas outfit. So, like, who likes to get clothes for Christmas? That's kind of like a boring gift. But every year, like I did when I was a child, waiting anxiously to open up my grandmother's gift, only to be disappointed that it wasn't that favorite toy that I was looking for. It was just clothes. My kids did the same thing. So anyway, we continued that tradition till they got a little bit older, and then we got to realizing that we never really got to spend that much time with each other, like opening the gifts for each other. And so we came up with the tradition of Eve of Christmas Eve, which today is Eve of Christmas Eve. And what that is that we have our own little family, immediate family, our little Christmas celebration today. So tonight we're having our Christmas celebration. That's why I have the turtle cake, because I'm looking so forward to it, having a piece of turtle cake tonight. And we'll open our gifts from each other. And then tomorrow our tradition is we go out as a family, go out to breakfast, and Jim pays for it from his little money account. Jim and I have separate money. I don't know if I've ever told you that. We have his money, her money, our money, and our money is to pay bills and stuff like that. I have my money to spend any way I want. I don't have to account for it. It's just mine. I know people think we're odd, but that's just what we do. And then, like, if we go out to eat or something with friends, we'll always say, are you buying, am I buying, or household buying? And they go, it's all the same money. No, it's not. But, you know, it's worked for what, 46 years. So what can I say? It works. So that's what we're doing. So anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, so we go out to breakfast, and then after we have breakfast, Jim and I just do something small with each other for dinner for Christmas Eve. Sometimes we go to Danny's house, but not usually, because then they go to, you know, he goes to his wife's house. And then on Christmas Day, Jim and I open our Santa presents, and then my family all comes over and we have a big Christmas dinner and we open up gifts between each other. And then the day after Christmas, Bertie and Ron and Jim and I all get together. We go out to dinner and we exchange our gifts. So it's kind of like a 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, a 4-day holiday for us. And then I always make fudge every year, and we just have fun. We just really have fun. So, I mean, it's not so much a Christmas memory, but a Christmas tradition. So, okay, I'm going to go in, see what I did. Let's go. Let's go. Dun, dun, da, dun, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun. Let's go face the music. Santa's coming. Santa, I know him. Okay, everybody knows that movie. Well, great news. I lost a whole pound, even after that bad Sunday and that going out to eat and eating all that bread on Tuesday. It just goes to show you just got to get right back on track. Don't let it deter you. Anybody could have had 3 pieces of cake and then just felt defeated and just gave it up. but no, not me. I stayed with it, and I'm in the 40s, and I'm full into the 40s. 249. Let's see. Can you see that? Plus, I got a star for 55 pounds lost. I've lost 55.2, and it was a 5-pound sticker, and I've had a loss for the last 7 weeks. I've lost a total of 5.7. Yeah, 5.7 in 5 weeks. 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Which is a little less than a pound a week, but you know what? It's better than a gain. It so is. And I made it through the holidays without a gain. I just got to get one more week. One more week. You just got to do it one day at a time. That's all you got to do. One day at a time. One meal at a time. We're going to do this. Let's go home. I got to get ready for tonight's Eve of Christmas Eve. Okay, let's eat our breakfast. I'm going to have 2 cups of tea because I am feeling kind of thirsty. So I started my day with a prayer. I drank 48 ounces of water so far. I've lost 1 pound at Weight Watchers. Yay! My quote is a little progress each day adds up to big results. I have 26 smart points. After the meeting, I told you I was going to eat one of the Christmas cookies, and I did for 4 points. A 0 for my eggs, my berry, my grapefruit, my banana, the tea and the water. 6 points for my bagel, and 1 point for my laughing cow. It's an 11-point start to my day, and I still have 15 points left. Okay, we're all ready. We're all going to be in the same room today. Move the table over.
Where in the bathroom? I don't know where's the bathroom.
In the back, the TV room, on the table.
What?
In the TV room on the table.
Next to the chair.
In Josh's room?
No, where you're watching TV, it's on the table next to the chair.
As you can see, Santa came. Christy's working hard in the kitchen. I delegated.